Hey there, this is R A Manard, Mitrava from Monks of the Way, doing the weekly talk, and this one is fifth precept. There's two translations. One is the misuse of substances, the use of substances that make you careless. The other one is careless use of substances. It doesn't matter, which way you translate it, or if you translate it both ways and think they're both valid. It's pretty easy to tell what that means. Now, that being said, there are plenty of Buddhist organizations that believe that what it means is that you should never take anything that's an intoxicant of any type that could ever intoxicate you. And furthermore, they may interpret intoxicant as just about anything, including something that alters your mood, such as caffeine, smoking a cigarette or a cigar, chewing ginger root or having a ginger drink, which would be a stimulant. It can be interpreted a lot of ways, but the actual words that are used don't mean any of those other things. They only mean those two things. Use of substances that make you careless, or careless use of substances. Those are the only two things that can mean. So, how do I interpret it here? As far as, do I change that? No, I just elaborate, which is, if you take a substance and it makes you careless, you shouldn't be taking it, right? An example, drinking alcohol. Some of them say, no, don't do it at all. That's what that means. No, it means it makes you careless, or you carelessly use it. You shouldn't do it. Oh, Buddha said this. Hang on. Is there really a place where Buddha said, you know what? I'm not going to let, my monks can't drink and at all, never. And my monks can't eat meat at all, never. And my monks, etc., etc. No. These explanations are outside, after the fact, longer than 250 years later, people saying that, oh, that's probably what he meant. Let's go with what we know he said, okay? Doesn't that seem reasonable? If it doesn't, okay. But I'm just asking, doesn't it seem reasonable? Most of you, I think, are going to say yes. And Monks of the Way is about, what's realistic, what's reasonable. Because it's fact-based, because it's universal truth-based. And we don't have a lot of that stuff that other Buddhists have with the things that are completely unsubstantiated that we would demand you believe. That doesn't set well with us. Willing to have a debate about anything at any time that's fact-based. And unlike with some other traditions, Monks of the Way has no problem with that. You can debate the truth of anything at any time. You are not going to be demanded to, or we're not going to demand to have you believe things if they don't seem believable to you. They don't seem factual. As far as why we would not want to use substances that make us careless, I think that's pretty self-explanatory, but I'll say something about it. If you, for example, drink soft drinks and you get all wired up and you do something you would normally do, but you get injured when you do it because you're doing it too quickly and not paying attention under the effect of the stimulant being the cause of your accident. Well, obviously your use of substances is making you careless. And if you keep doing it, even knowing that, that's careless use of that substance, no matter what it be. And I'm not advocating the use of any particular substance, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't, which a lot of people would like me to say, but I'm not going to. The other thing that it could mean is careless use of a substance, like I said. That goes with any substance. So let's say aspirin. You take too many, you get sick, you throw up because they put something in it that makes you throw up as a safety procedure. I don't think most people know that. And so there you go. You've carelessly used it. You haven't used an approved dosage. You haven't bothered to be responsible. You've just gone ahead and taken a whole mess of it. Obviously, that's bad. Obviously, that could turn out a lot worse depending on the substance. If that's heroin, you could certainly end up dead, or cocaine, or whatever. But there's a lot of over-the-counter things that you could kill yourself with, too. Things that are not against any law locally. Now, I'm going to go into a particular substance that people like to talk about, which is cannabis. And some people are using that as a medication, and some people are using that as an escape. Well, one person is misusing it and the other person is not. Guess which one? Because one of them is using a substance that makes them careless, and the other is not. So I want to mention also the interactivity of things. A person that's likely to do one thing is likely to do another in these 5 precepts that Buddha says lay people can do. And I mentioned monks before. Yeah, even monks were not under the rule that they couldn't drink and that they couldn't eat meat. So, lay people thinking that the 5 precepts mean these things, in my opinion, absolutely ridiculous, in my educated opinion. And certainly everybody is willing or able to look that stuff up, and I urge you to do that if you have any doubt at all. Even if you don't have doubt, you should be a skeptic. You should be a skeptic about everything that people say, pretty much. I'm not saying you should trust people. People should earn your trust. Now, if I've earned your trust, that's great. I still want you to be a little skeptical, but I appreciate that you've come that far and been skeptical enough that I've earned your trust. And that's the way it should be. So, as far as the 5th precept, once again, it's for people that are not monks. What can I do? What can I do to get towards enlightenment? Well, these are things you can start on. And then there are things that monks do. And I think regular people are ready for some of that stuff. And so I talk about that also. Not in this particular video, because I want to make sure it doesn't go too long. People like a short video. Shout out to what Buddha's got there. The meditation booklet and business card and a questionnaire behind the meditation booklet there. And those go out to people. And the mask goes out to people. They're things that are going to go out to people in my neighborhood here. Anyway, I hope that this was helpful for you a little bit. There are 5 of these, of course, for the 5 precepts. There are many videos. You can subscribe. You can take a look at the backlog here of all these videos that I've got. And that's at YouTube instead of Facebook, because Facebook, I guess due to extra volume, shut it down so I can't download the videos that I shoot live there. It's slow on YouTube sometimes, but non-existent now on Facebook apparently. So that's why I switched to YouTube. So you can find a whole library of them on YouTube, and they are more edited than the ones on Facebook because of the upload-download issue that I mentioned before, having issues with them. Anyway, I want to thank you for having a listen. I hope that Truth will remove delusion in your life the way light removes darkness. Thank you, my friend, for having a listen.